when I was in my final year. So I was working on websites. So I think actually getting a real hands-on experience, I started seeing like, oh, actually, how are these, like when I was learning all the theory, I guess it wasn't really clicking to me, like, how does this work in the real world? But when I actually started getting involved and, getting hands-on into the work, that's when I saw the like how things actually work, and I managed to build a portfolio. So throughout varsity, I liked to build stuff, build websites, stuff like that. And I built a portfolio, I hosted it on GitHub, and that's what helped me get my first job in tech. So I believe it's a combination of that, but also just other working experience as well. So before I had any tech jobs, I also worked in retail twice, once right after high school, and also in my second year, I also worked in retail. So just having that experience of working with people, but also so having the experience of working with people and having a job and having those responsibilities, and then that got, and also building my side projects, that's what helped me to actually, become, I guess, like more hireable, to say, okay, I have experience and I've built real world projects. And actually, so in my final year, I started freelancing and I was charging by the hour. I worked for a company and I was working on websites. So we'll get into the different careers and stuff like that. So that's one thing that is also an option, like freelancing and working for a company like that. And yeah, so my career actually started before I got my degree. So I'm just going to move on to the next slide. Oops, sorry. Okay, there we go. So yeah, so I started building apps and websites. And when I started, I did not have any clients. So it was just me wanting to learn. And I just started to, just imagine like, okay, building a website for like a creative agency, and I just make it up and I build it, because sometimes you come across like all these tutorials and you get stuck in just like watching tutorials all like just watching tutorials over and over again, but not really getting any hands-on experience. So what really worked for me is actually working on stuff and putting it on a portfolio. And that's what also helped me get my freelance jobs when I was in final year, by actually having hands-on experience. And another thing that really worked for me is creating content on social media. I know that this isn't for everyone, but I really enjoy creating content, and I've been creating content for a long time now. So I think just having that exposure, having my portfolio visible for everyone to see out there, also helped me to like reach people. So I think that also highlights the importance of, I guess, networking as well. It doesn't, I know a lot of people are not comfortable with sharing on social media. So to connect with people, it doesn't have to be on social media. You can also attend events, just talk to people and see, like, there's different ways to connect with people. The way that worked for me was social media. And can everybody just check that they're muted? But yeah, I think that's what really helped me to grow, because I was actually building real world projects ever since I started learning how to code. And my first big project came in my final year, where I got a client to build an app for them. So it was an app for a travel agency. And I think just also having that up, like, once you start building actual projects, it helps you build that confidence to say like, okay, I figured things out. I didn't know how I was going to build that app, but I had my portfolio. I showed them my portfolio. They wanted an app. At that point, I was just building websites. But having that experience of actually completing those websites, it gave me the confidence to work on that app, and I was able to get my first client, and I built that I built the app, I got it on the app stores. And I think that also highlights the importance of just actually getting into it and learning as you go. Because if I got stuck, for example, trying to learn tutorials, like now I just learned how to deploy to the apps, to the app stores once I got to that point, and also learned like how to work with people, how to actually create like project specification documents to say like, oh, okay, how do I actually turn this person's idea into an actual project? How do I actually design the UI for this? How do I connect all the parts and make everything work together? So I really, really always recommend learning by actually doing real world projects. And once I built that app, that also helped go to my portfolio as well. So it was the first time I built an app, and at the same time, at that point at school in my final year, we built a location-based game, and those two projects helped me. I was able to put those in my portfolio, and that helped me land my first job after varsity. So having two real world projects in my portfolio, even for my first interview that I did, I just had to, I didn't do like a technical interview or anything like that. I actually took them through the projects that I had already built that were there on my GitHub, and I showed them how I did certain things. And that's how I did my first actual interview. So having that experience, and I got that job as a React Native developer. So that was my first job, in my first full-time job as a software engineer. That was in 2021, and I started working as a React Native developer because I had gotten that experience from building a website for a client, as well as building the app for the client, as well as building that app for my final year project. And even now, till this day, I'm still working as a React Native developer. So just having that real world experience, like it really counts. And just to because now, as I mentioned, this webinar is about how to get into tech without a degree. So there's various ways to get into tech. I today work with people that don't have degrees, and we're in the same industry, so it is really possible. So there's many different ways to learn. So YouTube, guys, like I love YouTube. I'm not only saying it because I'm a YouTuber, but there's so many great resources on YouTube. What I really like on YouTube is when people do like programs like videos like how to recreate Netflix, and it's like a 3-hour video, and you're actually building the project, and so to have like a real world project. And the best thing to do is also see how you can, because a lot of these online tutorials, they give you all the steps. So another thing that you can do is see how you can make it your own, like change it, see how you can just make it different and actually learn something from that. So there's also resources like Free Code Camp, Codecademy, and Easy Code, which is a company that I founded. So what I like about things like structured courses is that sometimes when you're getting started on the journey and you just go today and you're like, how to code, it's like there's so many resources, there's so many languages, there's so many paths to take that you might not really know how to start, where to start. So I think having like some kind of structured program like these ones helps you get helps to give you a starting point. Because I think once you know what, for me, I started coding and I started learning HTML and CSS, which is used to build websites. So once I learned that, it helped me build the confidence, and then I can move on to the next thing. So after I learned HTML and CSS, I built a game using C#, and then I moved on to different languages. But there's so many resources. You might like one day now you're finding this language, that language. So I really like these platforms because they'll give you they'll put together a course that helps you learn a specific thing. And there's also even though you can get into tech without a degree, I think there's a lot of companies that still, I guess, like to see some form of, like some proof of education or anything like that. So there's also some online courses that you could do. So you can check for Google certificates and Coursera. There's lots of platforms just to show that you can also still follow like a structured program and commit to actually completing it. And there's like really, I also really enjoy courses as well, because I think I just like the structure of it. So even till this day, I still do courses. So I am a front end developer, and I'm currently upskilling to be a full stack developer. So I recently just did a Golang course. And what I like about that is that you build so many different projects throughout the course. So I think if there's anything you're going to take away from today, is the importance of actually building those real world projects. Like, that's how you get the hands-on experience, adding those to your portfolio. And that's the best way to learn, to actually get your hands dirty and build something. And another thing that I really, really like to highlight is like being involved in some kind of community or boot camps or anything like that. Because yes, you can get into tech without a degree, but you're still entering a job environment. So it's good to have some resources, people to connect with, and also showing that you can work with other people. Because when you're coding and you're building a project by yourself, it's very different to when you're working on a project in a company, because now you're working with different people. You have to learn how to use things like GitHub, how to do code reviews. So getting involved in communities is so important, which is why I really like boot camps. Before I went to varsity, I actually really wanted to go to We Think Code, which I'll touch on in the next slide. But I really, really like these community programs and boot camps, because you learn a lot of things fast. You learn how to work with people, and you get a whole lot of hands-on experience. And it's also networking opportunities. I really believe in networking, and that's how you get to, like, you never know who you'll meet where. So with me, one of the freelance projects I was doing in my final year, I used to do a lot of like little jobs here and there. And I went to this, it was like a business convention, and I was just working at a stall. So all I had to do is just sell some stuff, and that was my job for a weekend. But the lady that was handling the stall and that hired me, I told her like, oh, actually, I study computer science. I have this portfolio website. And she was actually looking for someone to do a website for her at that point. And that's how I got that job. So like talking to people and connecting with people, going to these events, even social media. Like even now, I have a lot of people that reach out to me via email and DMs to chat and stuff like that. Because it's like people are in different spaces. You never know what you'll learn from them. So just get yourself in those spaces. And once again, I think if you're going the self-taught path, the important thing is project-based learning. So actually doing real-world projects. And it's, yes, I did mention having some certificates, that's great, but actually, like, what have you built? Like, there's GitHub where you can put all your projects and show how you work through everything. So once again, don't get stuck in tutorial hell. And also, once you do all these projects, always see how you can make it your own. So you'll maybe do, as I mentioned the example earlier, to say, okay, I'm going to do this YouTube course that's going to show me how to recreate Netflix. So now you can see, oh, okay, how can I make this my own? Maybe I can say, how can I now import YouTube videos to this platform to see how I can actually make that work? Or how do I autoplay the videos? So just seeing different ways. Or maybe how do I let people actually maybe create favorites so that they have a folder with their favorite videos, so just get creative, see how you can make it your own, and actually learn from that as well. And so here, because I really like boot camps and like structured programs, I just wanted to add this here about how to spot a legit program, because unfortunately, lots of people are trying to make money these days, so you'll see all these programs popping up and everyone is trying to get into tech. So some people really do take advantage of that. So I think when you're looking out for programs, things you can check is, do they actually build real world projects? Like what are you going to get at the end of this bootcamp, and seeing like people that have graduated from these boot camps, do they get hired? Are they maybe starting their own thing? Like LinkedIn does. LinkedIn is such a great platform, and you can connect with people, see what people are doing. Maybe people that graduated from that, or that completed that boot camp, to see how they're doing. Is there career support? Is there mentorship as well? So just actually do a whole lot of research about, these boot camps if you're trying to go that route. I did put some examples that are doing really great work. So obviously I would mention programs like Easy Code, which is a company that I run, but our programs are meant for just a starting point. So we give you a starting point. You can also check out our website, easycode.com. Sometimes we do host some free boot camps. We did one earlier this year where we were showing how to use AI tools and how to build your first website. So it's a starting point, and then you can go on. Some of these programs that I put here are more, I guess, like formal institutions. So We Think Code is a tuition-free company, and it's employer connected. So if you're trying to get into tech and you're trying to get a job without a degree, there are some companies that unfortunately are very strict about that, and they want you to have a degree. So what I like about We Think Code is that they connect you with companies. So you'll spend a couple of months learning through their program, and then a couple of months in a job, and then a couple of months in their boot camp, and then a couple of months in a job. So that way, by the time you complete the boot camp, you have some real world experience. And sometimes those companies can even take you full time once you've completed the program. And even with myself, I worked with people that have completed the We Think Code program. So I really like that they connect you with employers. I think, sorry, I think I made a little typo in my slides that's meant to say Malsoft Academy. I'll just send it here in the chat. I think that's another great one, which is they also give you practical training, and it is so Malsoft Academy is a paid program. So you have to pay for that boot camp, but they do give you a practical training. And once you complete the boot camp, you get an internship. So you have like a guaranteed internship once. I believe it's a 6-month internship. You can get all the details on their website. So that also gives you that hands-on experience that you can also put on your CV. You'll actually work on a real-world project. So I really like that as well. And another program that I really like is Girl Code. So this one is for the ladies, and they also offer a whole bunch of things. They do workshops, internships, hackathons. I think they are currently running like an accelerator program. So please check out the Girl Code website as well. So they'll have different programs. Maybe they'll do like a 3-month Python course or stuff like that. You get a certificate, you'll get, like a structured program. So I think the last point says if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, which is true. But I think the ones that I mentioned are also really good, and they are true. But I think just check. I think the biggest thing, check out their LinkedIn, check, where how the graduates are doing, how the programs are structured, and all of that. That is really important. And yeah, I guess, like looking at yourself and seeing how are you trying to progress in your career. Maybe if you want to do your own thing, then you can see, okay, what am I actually going to learn? If you want to freelance, like, okay, will I get the skills that I need to be able to handle projects on my own and stuff like that. So, and yeah, so building a portfolio. So when you're building portfolio, I think focus on real world projects, because when you do like these courses and stuff, sometimes they'll do simple things like, okay, how to build a calculator, how to, like you're just learning like one thing, but it doesn't really, give you a full picture. So when you're building your portfolio, you can actually see like, okay, how can I connect all these things and actually build like a complete thing? So for example, with us at Easy Code, when we had our free bootcamp earlier this year, everyone finished that bootcamp with a personal website that they built by themselves. So just focus on having like a real world project that can tell a story. Like for me, as I mentioned, the project that helped me to get my first job, well, it was actually 2 projects, but the one that I did as a freelancer was an app for a travel agency. So you can go into the app, you can log in, you can see all the different packages, you can book a package. It shows that, okay, I'm actually able to take an idea from an idea to an actual complete product. I can combine all the different things that I learned to build something. As I mentioned, like I learned how to do the login. I learned how to integrate with payments. I learned how to connect. I did UI work. So actually showing how to actually take everything and do a complete project. And also just showing a process. I have also worked with people that have, as I said, like I've worked with lots of people that don't have degrees. And what I've seen, another thing that makes them stand out is having something like a blog where they would, I guess, document their learnings in tech. And I guess that just like, I do have another slide about how to stand out, but that's something that also helps you to stand out, to say like, okay, here's the process. This is like why I decided to go for this. This is why I decided to go for this language. This is why I chose this architecture, because so if you document that, show your process. And so like when you're looking to get a job without a degree, the big thing is actually showing that you know what you're doing, because I guess a degree is meant to show that. So if you don't have a degree, it's like, how can you show us that you also know what you're doing? And also building a portfolio, doing freelance work. So you can make up projects and just, as I said earlier, maybe have an idea like, okay, let me see if I build a website for a creative agency or something. Like just think of a project. Another way is to actually approach small businesses and start off and say, hey, I'd like to build a website for you for free, and maybe you'll do 1 or 2, and then now you'll have a portfolio and you can go and approach other small businesses and show them. That's how I did it. I actually built I built one free project, which was my website for my freelancing company, and then I had that website as an example. And then now I currently have 2 clients, and I just showed them my website. I'm like, hey, do you want a website, a simple website like this for your business? Yes. Okay, cool. I can do that for you. Here's the price. And then now you have like that freelancing that you can do. And yeah, as I said, personal projects count too. I think a lot of people in tech also have, like, I guess, like their passion project, something that they're continuously working on to learn something, which is something, unfortunately, I'm not doing at the moment. But I think it's a really great thing to keep doing, like, all the time. Like, if there's anything that you're passionate about, I really want to build like a habit tracker. So I've actually started it. It is up on my GitHub, but I haven't done a lot of work on it. But just having something that you're passionate about, then you can contribute to often, so you can keep learning, see I can improve it, and it's there as a portfolio project as well, and it's something that you're passionate about. So that is also another great idea. And another thing with standing out without a degree, building in public. And guys, LinkedIn, I love LinkedIn. Like, I know people find people that post on LinkedIn so annoying, but I am one of those people, and it really does help you stand out. Like, sharing your journey, building in public, building, like, learning from other people. You'll be surprised, like, who you can meet and the different ways you can grow by showing what you're working on, who can see your work, who can contribute to it, and also contributing to open source projects. So there's lots of different projects. Once again, if there's something you're passionate about, maybe you're using a specific open source tool, you can see areas of improvement, then you can also contribute to that. And it also helps to show that you can actually contribute to real world projects. And networking. I cannot emphasize this one enough. Even through platforms like LinkedIn, like, it's such a great tool to meet people, see different things that are people are doing, and just, you can also hype yourself up a little bit, say, hey guys, look, I did 1, 2, 3, and you never know who will see it. And yeah, I think also just creating a simple personal website and just to put everything there, just showcase the projects that you've worked on. Maybe I can just once I've gone through, I can just show you like a simple website that I have. But yeah, so just building a simple website and showcasing that. So that's different ways to stand out, contributing to things and networking and building your portfolio. So the next steps, I think choosing your path. When you're going into tech, there are a lot, there's a lot of different routes that you can take. As I said, I'm a front-end engineer. So basically what that means is I work on the parts that I guess people interact with. So for example, if you see an app, then like the UI, the buttons, all of those things, that's a part that I work on, but there's many different roles in tech. So I included this website, roadmap.sh, and it's such a great tool. It has roadmaps for so many different careers, because as I mentioned earlier, it's sometimes a bit challenging to know where to start. So it really gives you like the roadmap to say, okay, if you want to maybe be a QA engineer, where do you start? If you want to be a front-end engineer, back-end engineer, like what's the steps you need to take? What are you supposed to be learning? So it gives you all the, for so many roles. So I would highly recommend it. I think joining communities as well. So just checking on LinkedIn, following platforms like Girl Code, Microsoft Academy, like all those platforms that I mentioned, because sometimes they'll do like meetups, they'll do hackathons and stuff like that. And I think also just building. I think sometimes we're like, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, but just making sure that you're actually building projects and you're putting up your portfolio. There's also GitHub where you can put up your projects so people can see your code. And yeah, it's a really great platform. So I think I've been doing a lot of talking. So I'd love to open up for questions. I don't know if I'm just going to check if there's any questions in the chat. Otherwise, I think you can put your hand up and then we can go through questions.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tshego. We can now ask questions. If you would like to open your mic, you can do that. Please feel free to open your mic, raise your hand, and then we will allow you to ask the question. All right, I see Bongi is there. Before we go with Bongi, I just wanted you to just give like information on what is a hackathon, because I'm sure there's someone out there wondering what's that.
All right. So a hackathon is I guess just like a short example of what it is. It's like it would be like a company would host it and they say, okay, this weekend we want you to build I'm trying to think of an example, but like there's a goal, like okay, you have to build an app that does 1 2 3 by the end of the weekend. So you'll connect, it's usually in groups, and you'll maybe sit the whole weekend, build this project, and the goal is at the end to have built this thing. And it's usually like a competition setup, so you can like win prizes. Sometimes you can like get an interview at certain companies. So yeah, it's something like that.
All right, thank you. Okay, we can go with Bongi now.
Hello.
Hi.
Um, I hope you're doing great. Thank you so much for this. What advice would you give someone who just finished the F&B full stack developer course that they did for like 9 weeks?
All right. I'm not really sure what the course entails, but um, is your goal to like get a job, to get freelance projects? What's the goal?
The goal is to just get like freelance projects, just to gain some experience, you know.
Okay.
The course entailed HTML, CSS. It also entailed how to use GitHub, Python, Django, and what else? It was data models designs and the back end development and all of that stuff, Java and Ruby.
All right, cool. Yeah, I think if you haven't already, just building that portfolio website, so maybe like your personal website to showcase, I guess, your skills. And then you could do a project, so a free project maybe for a small business. Maybe reach out to a couple of small businesses, see if any of them are interested in an app or a website, just to have that in your portfolio. And then also start I guess after that, advertising your services. When I was actively freelancing and looking for projects, Facebook was actually a really good tool for me. Just people are still using it. So, reaching out to people there, that's how I got a couple of projects. Also, people in your network as well, platforms like LinkedIn. So I think just building an actual project for a real business, whether you could get a free one at the first go. If you can't, then you can do so you can get a paid one at first. If you can't get that, just maybe do a free one just to create some kind of portfolio and then take it from there.
Awesome. Anyone who wants to ask?
Thank you.
Wangi, thank you. Anyone who wants to ask another question? Guys, you have Tshegofatso who will help you with anything in terms of tech. So you have this opportunity. Khumoto,
Good evening, how are you?
Good evening. I'm great. And yourself?
I'm good. Can you hear me right? Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you clearly.
Okay. I like the fact that I've just met someone who is in the same market that I'm in, whereby we're building this type of website and it's going crazy down there. So my question to you now, if you have built a website and you have used CSS and JavaScript, Uh, if a client says, can you use a WordPress but at a lower price? How do you engage on that?
If you use
If a client says, I want this website to be
okay,
in a WordPress,
okay.
but yet you can do them on JavaScript and Visual Studio Code, how do you engage that? Because that customer will now say, you know what, if you can do it on WordPress, you can reduce the
Yeah.
prices. How do you engage that to the client?
I guess that's a little bit of a difficult one, but I would say yeah, I guess it would depend on you as well if you're comfortable with that. So maybe you could maybe offer a package for the lower price to say, okay, if I do it with WordPress, here's the lower package and this is what's included here. But if that's not something that you want to do, I know maybe it's difficult, especially if it's like your first client or you're just starting out. It might be difficult to say no, that's not what you do. But if you wouldn't want to, if you want to build it from scratch, then yeah, I think some clients unfortunately are very specific about what they want. So if they really just want that, you might have to look for, I guess, a different client base that understands the benefits of actually you building it from scratch and hosting it.
Because my other question, I have a problem with in the first beginning, when I get the client, immediately when we are in the middle of the job, they will now say, you know what, we are in the middle. I've got someone better than you. Give me everything. And that person will finish off what we've started.
Yeah, I think
That thing
another
is
one,
just, it's
yeah,
just draining as a person will put more
True.
more time on it because you want to make the client happy.
True. For me, I don't know if you also put contracts in place. Maybe that's something that could work. Having, I guess, yeah, the contract in place to say that once you get started, you guys are agreeing on, that's what you guys are agreeing on. They also pay a deposit, and you know that at least the deposit is paid, and then all the terms should be in the contract to say if they want to terminate, when they need to let you know by, and how much is owed, and all of that. I think, yeah, so having that contract in place.
Contract are there, but you know how people are, they will come to you and say, my brother, because you are a brother from another mother, trust me. There, and you say, I'm in a business right now, come on.
Yeah.
You know how people are. And putting that effort is like, dude, come on. It's
Yeah, no,
draining.
I hear you. Yeah. Unfortunately, yeah, I'm not really sure, but yeah, it is, I guess, something that also happens, unfortunately. Yes, to do.
On Komodo's issue, I'd like for him on Komodo's issue, I'd like for him to be more specific about his prices there, because customers will always be customers and they'll always negotiate their prices. So on Komodo's case, I'd like for him to be more specific and be strict about his prices and how he creates his apps, because customers will always take advantage of you, knowing that you make their offer.
Yeah, true. And I agree on that.
So yeah, so Homoza has to be strict on his prices, and he must, like that, like you told him to create a package for his apps and how he does them on the lowest cost on WordPress. He has to be strict on that. It says I offer. He has to tell him that he tells him that the customer should take it or leave it. That way, it's going to work.
Yeah, thank you for that. I definitely agree.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I just turned my camera off. My network is not that great right now. But is there any other questions?
All right, guys, let's give it, I guess, 5 more minutes for questions. You can raise your hand. All right, while we wait for it, I have a question. All right, as you know that we are in AI era, do you think that there are other tech skills that are going to be less important in this AI era? And my question is, do you actually use AI?
Yes. So yeah, we are in the AI era, and I use AI every single day. And I think it's just gonna be more involved in, like, we're just gonna continue using it more. So I think it's great to learn how to use these programs. I think Google has a free prompt engineering course uh, that you can check out. So I really think it's great to be able to use these resources, see how you can actually build projects using these resources. I think it just the only thing that I wouldn't recommend it when you're starting out from the beginning. I think you just need some understanding of how things actually work, how to connect everything. But once you have like a base understanding, I think it's great to actually integrate these platforms and use them. I think for me, they've made me more efficient as a developer.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I see there's a hand. Tepo.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. So quick question, right? I just graduated in business, right? But then I wanted to ask you, do you think Comta A, do you think it's worth it in 2025? And then second question, do you offer mentorship and how much do you charge for mentorship?
All right, so I'm not really sure what Comta A is. Yeah, so I'm not really sure what that is. At the moment, I do not offer mentorship. I just currently don't have the time. I do answer on the screen my social media links and my email address. I do answer questions in my emails, in my DMs. It does take me some time sometimes, but I always try my best to answer any questions.
Awesome. Thank you. Is there anyone who still wants to ask any question? Okay, I guess there's no one, guys. We are about to wrap up. Just make sure you don't have any question before we leave. But if that's it, I just want to say thank you so much to Tshegofatso for sharing your journey and insights. That was an amazing webinar we've had, and I see a lot of people want to tap into tech. I think this is one of the most trending topics right now. Everyone wants to start something in tech. So I guess we should bring more topics with regards to tech. And yeah, thank you everyone for joining us this evening. And we hope this is going to be something impactful on your side. You're going to do something. You're going to start something. And yeah, it's just a matter of starting. Just start. You have all that information. I don't know if Tshegofatso has her last words. What can you share with us, Tshegofatso, before we wrap up?
Yes, yeah, I just also, I guess, emphasize just starting, creating those projects, reaching out. And yeah, on my YouTube channel, my YouTube is the Tshegofatso, and I have a whole playlist titled Software Development. So if there's anything else you would like to know, you can go check out that playlist on my YouTube channel. I've done lots of videos about this. You can also feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. It is Tshegofatso Isaac, and yeah, I'm also at the Tshegofatso on all socials. So yeah, feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I always try to post about any like upcoming events, anything interesting that's happening. And yeah, so yeah, just check it out, see what's out there, and yeah, give it a try. Thank you. And thank you so much for having me.